So this is the instructions here. This is quite thick. I'm sure I've read shorter Jackie Collins novels, but never mind. Hello again and welcome back to March Payne's Midlife Dolly Crisis, and today I'm going to be unboxing or opening this item here. So this is from the Miniverse. These were out a couple of years back, I think. The date on this is actually 2023, but whether or not we would have got them here in Ireland in 2023 or whether we would have got them last year, I'm not sure. I bought this one very recently, like a couple of weeks ago. I'd wanted these when they came out, but I think I'd just kind of forgotten about them, and then I saw them in the shop and I thought, oh, I must get them. Only because I thought if I don't get them now, I never will. So essentially this was from a line where they released sort of drinks dispensers. This is meant to be, I'm guessing, sort of a 1/6 scale, but this is actually really big, so I don't quite understand why all this is needed for this. I think possibly one of the reasons I didn't rush to get this at the time is because there is a resin element to this, and I've never really used it. None of the kind of balls that I bought before, you know, these kind of sort of crafty ones, the ones you have to make the item, has had the resin in. The only other one I got previous to this was one where you basically made a plant and you didn't need resin for that. You kind of had sort of like the fake soil and stuff like that. You didn't actually have to sort of put something in the sun for like 10 hours or whatever to cure it, or underneath a UV lamp or anything like that. I don't have a UV lamp, by the way, so so this video might be sort of filmed in a few different parts, depending on whether or not I'm actually going to use the resin, because I don't know if you actually need to do that or not. But yeah, look, I'm kind of excited to get this out. I'm interested to see how big it actually is. Now, although I kind of know that this one is the coffee dispenser because it's got the coffee machine on it, I don't know which colour I'm getting. So it's either going to be this colour here, which is sort of like a turquoisey colour, or there's a pink one here. Ideally, I would like this one, the sort of turquoise coloured one. However, if I do get the pink one, I'm not going to fret too much, because either way, I think they could look kind of retro anyway, those kind of colours. So yeah, I'm not going to go on my way to try and find a blue one, but if I get the blue one, I will be very happy, and if I get the pink one, you know, I'll be happy enough. Okay, so I'm going to actually open it as we're speaking, because that's probably better. Normally these things are a bit of a nightmare, from what I remember. And obviously there's a lot of plastic going on. This might not be so bad, but there tends to be the sort of the things you have to pull, the strip things. I think that's it there. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's good. So that's it. So that is the ball as it is, and it's got a base to it. So I don't know if this is going to be part of the item in some way. Maybe it kind of makes something else. But yeah, so it's flat on both sides, so it will stand up. It's not rolling around everywhere, which is very good for filming. So we'll crack this open. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here by the looks of it. Oh, crikey. I've got the pink one. That's alright, actually. It's kind of big. Is that sort of Barbie size? I'm not sure. It's probably bigger than the doll. Oh, well, look, I bought it now. It's fine. It is cute. I don't mind the fact that it's the pink one, actually. It's quite nice. And it does look, as I say, it does have a very sort of retro look about it. The whole sort of the colour and the style of it all. So that's that. I'm not sure what a lot of this is. It still feels a bit excessive somehow, having all of this stuff. So this is the instructions here. This is quite thick. I'm sure I've read shorter Jackie Collins novels, but never mind. Okay, I'm going to get this open and sort through the stuff, and we'll have a look and see what we've got. Okay, so I'm a bit more sorted, I think, now. This was basically all the stuff. It looks less daunting as it did when it all kind of dropped out and it felt like there was a lot of different things. So obviously this is the machine, this is the main part. There's this, which I think is maybe something just to put it on. I don't really know, like a sort of placemat. Anyway, that is that. This, I'm guessing, is the resin. And then I think this is kind of like cream that you put on top of the coffee. And we've got 2 spoons there. Obviously I've not opened it yet, but that's what I'm kind of guessing is in there. And then here we've got the 2 cups. And I think 2 saucers to put the cups on, maybe. Well, look, let's get this open and we'll see. Actually, before we do that, let me show you this. So this is the leaflet that came with it. So these are the other ones that you can get. I mean, these have been out for a while, so I'm sure if you've wanted them, you probably got them by now. But I think basically it's kind of one or the other that you'll get with each one. So one is a coffee thing. Sour fountain. I don't know what that is. Obviously this is the coffee maker. Bubble tea maker, and then here we've got a juice dispenser. So there were 4 different ones you could get, and obviously there were two different flavours with each one. And this just basically shows you the very kind of basics of what you need to do. So this is the one that we've got here. So basically I think you put why they've done it this order I don't know. They've kind of done it in reverse order. So you're meant to put the resin part inside the machine and squeeze it out. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, only because I don't really want to mess the machine up with the resin stuff. So I think I'll probably not be doing that. So basically you're meant to get this sort of stuff, which I'm presuming is like a brown colour or a black colour, into the mug. You then put that into the sun for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, obviously this is probably American sun, so I don't know what the Irish sun how long the Irish sun will take. It might take a little bit longer than that. And then you put the dollop of cream on the top, and again you set it for another 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm going to do it yet, but that's basically what you have to do if you're using the resin. And there's this sort of pamphlet here which basically just tells you a few sort of do's and don'ts, I think, about what you're doing with the resin. How to play with resin. Well, first of all, I don't think you really think it's a toy. And what to do after you've done and before you start and all sorts. There were a few of these because obviously they have to cater for all the different languages, but at least they're paper, so you can just recycle them. So that's good. So that is that. So yeah, look, let's start opening these up and see. So yeah, look, this is cute. So this is like a blue saucer and a blue coffee cup, which are actually very cute. Look, there we go. So they match. Now, I don't know if that means that if you were to get the blue one, you would get the pink cups, maybe. But that's fine. There we go. So that is those. And they seem like a nice enough size, I guess, for a Barbie. We'll have a look, because I'll get a Barbie out at some point and we'll see how big she is in comparison to the coffee maker. So that's kind of those bits there. Yep. Put those on top of that. And then this is the other bit, which is, I'm guessing, the resin. Yeah, so this is kind of the thing with the whipped cream in, which I think is just basically 2 bits of plastic, which is fine. So that's not really resin related, although you put that on top of the resin once it's cured. But that's quite a cute little sort of accessory as well to have in a sort of a kitchen or whatever, if you could see it. There you go. So yeah, so that is that. We've got 2 spoons there, which I'm guessing you're meant to use to sort of help you with the resin, possibly. But I'm not going to be getting resin on these, so no, I don't think I'll be using those. But they're nice for the cups anyway. There we go. So that's quite cute. And then get it out. And then this is the resin that you're going to use. It's a latte, just so we know. Don't drink it. Do not drink it. That is do not drink. Yeah, and I'm guessing you can just take the top off and pour it in. So that's kind of all of the stuff that you get. Okay, so I've put this cutting mat down just so I don't get any stuff on the table. I think I've already decided that I'm not going to be sort of sticking this to the top of the coffee. Only because I think it's just nicer to keep it as just coffee in there. And then those can always just be sort of placed on the top later on if you kind of want them to be having like a creamy coffee or not. So this is obviously the resin. So I'm going to move that out of the way. So this is the resin here. Oh, okay, so it's already coming out, which is not really what I wanted to happen. I'm going to grab... Oh, and I've got it on my finger, so that's probably even worse. I'll be back shortly. So, I'm back, and I'm wearing gloves, which is... Well, I'm wearing a glove. So this is a glove that I use when I'm dyeing my hair, which is the reason that it is kind of a blue colour. So, these are obviously the cups. This is the resin. I've also got this in case I need it. It's kind of like a glue spatula. I think we're just going to pour it in and hope for the best. This is probably very riveting for you to watch. It's actually not that runny, so this could take a while. I'm also not that convinced that there's enough in here for 2. And I don't want to go too full with them either, only because if I do end up using that cream stuff, I'm going to start the other one now, it might keep sort of dropping out or something. I kind of thought this might be a darker colour, to be honest, because I thought, you know, you could pretend they're having like a black coffee. It kind of looks a bit like sort of a caramel colour, really. Or almost like a tea colour. I'm not going to worry too much about any sort of bubbles or anything, because you do get that in coffee anyway. I might leave it at that. I think that looks okay. It does actually look more like tea than coffee at the moment. So look, that is that. I'm going to put this on the windowsill now, and we'll come back to it very shortly. So here is the finished product. So obviously this is the coffee machine here, and then this is the coffee in the mugs there. So I didn't put the cream bit on top. I left that off. Basically because I thought, well, what was the point in putting the resin in, you know, this kind of brown resins, it looks like coffee, then just plonking one of those on, because it will actually fill it. I'm actually going to put one on and you can see what I mean. There you go. So you can't really see the coffee, so it seems pretty pointless. And also it means that basically I can have the cream on as an option, or other times they can just be drinking normal coffee. The colour actually looks like tea to me as well, so it could really be either. I think it worked pretty well. I did have a slight issue with it in that I'd put the resin into the mug. I'd put that onto the windowsill to try and get some sun onto it. And because the windowsill has a slope in it, unfortunately the resin didn't really sort of settle and it was kind of at an angle. So I ended up pouring the rest of the resin into the cups to even it out, and then I kind of put it on a table in front of the window, and that was okay, that was fine. Now, I haven't used this sort of resin stuff before, so I don't really know what the texture is meant to be like. It still feels a bit, I don't know if tacky is the word, but I kind of thought it would go sort of hard. And it is hard, but it does have a kind of a tacky sort of texture to it, although it doesn't seem wet. It feels like I could dig my nail into it. I don't really want to do that because obviously that would ruin it. But if you have used this kind of kit before, let me know how it feels to you, because I don't know if it's dried properly. I mean, it should be, because I left it in the windowsill for about a week, to be perfectly honest. So unless that sort of does damage to it, I don't know. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to get some dolls together and I'm going to take some pictures of them with this set. I think it's basically going to be sort of Barbie-sized dolls. It wouldn't necessarily work for an Element Wild doll, although I think the actual coffee machine would probably work okay with them, because that's quite kind of a big size, really. So that kind of feels like it's in more proportion to her than the mugs are, for sure. But yeah, check the pictures out at the end and see what you think. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please share the video if you know anyone else that likes coffee-based content. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care. Bye.